You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Right, Chris.
All right. Good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, goodbye. Hello. Welcome along. This is LTIDT TV, even from Leicester Till I Die. You'd think I'd know that by now, wouldn't you? Thank you for joining us, whether you are listening via your favourite podcast platform. If you are, thank you for lending us your ears, or watching. It's a bit like watching Mr. Universe, really, isn't it, with me and Brad on? But what can I say? Gray is in with a new picture. Gray, good evening, sir. And, of course, we wouldn't be a Leicester show without Jamie Vardy in the chat, would it? Brad, welcome along, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be back. We've not done a video in about, well, I don't know, maybe 3 days. So the public are crying out and demanding for it. Well, say you said that to me, but really, I heard it was because Dave and Kate wasn't available, so I was third choice. But nevertheless, I'm here as it is.
What can I say? What can I say? I have to try and spread you around a bit, and I know you've been spread around a bit in your life. But look, hey, it's summer. Look, two things you know that summer's here, pissing down with rain, and Leicester got smashed for 700 odd the other day at cricket.
Yeah, but it's that warm rain, Chris. That's how you really know it's summer, because the rain's a little bit warmer than it was when it was spring and winter.
That's the one, is it? That's the you see, I didn't realise that. I tend not to go out in it if I can help it. I realised how long it was when I went out the other day in my car, and it nearly didn't turn over. I'm becoming a little bit of a hermit, but no. But here we go. Don't want you to get withdrawal symptoms, though. You see, Brad. That's it.
Oh, I see. Well, this is why I'm here, folks. So, because the people have obviously been begging out for me, that's why they're all here in their droves. The usual crowd are back. They've been demanding justice for me to return. As you can see there, my favourite man. I knew Gray was our favourite, but there we go, Chris. He's here.
I think it because he couldn't find that one.
Well, maybe YouTube would have kept it out. Yeah, it gives you the same impression.
Yes, indeed. Look, can I just say, before anybody brings it up in the chat, this is a very shorter version, as short as it can ever be with us two on it, show. Just a little bit of fun. We're not going to be talking Enzo. I'm not interested on whether he's coming or going. When it's announced, it's announced. And if he goes, we move on. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to wet myself in wild anticipation of what's going to happen there. But Gray is still celebrating. Nate is in. Hello, Nate. How are you? And Gray says, oh, my God, how the mighty have fallen without the lights of Ray Illingworth. I can remember when we used to win the one-day thing about 3 times out of 4.
Yeah, them days have long gone, haven't they, unfortunately?
They have. But look, anyway, for those of you who have TikTok, you will know how this works. It's slightly changed a little bit because we have to do the graphics in advance. But if anybody's got TikTok and you do the blind ranking, Brad, ranking, you'll know, like, you know, it said like your 10 favorite pop stars or your 10 favorite League One football teams, and you don't know what's going to come up, and then you have to put it in 1 to 10 before the rest come up. You'll see it as we go through it. But I did catch Brad out with this the other day when he said, "Yeah, give me a ring now." And I think, well, you went early, didn't you, with it, Brad?
I really did. You're going to see, I'm going to get absolutely chastised in the comment, and I'm just putting it on record now. Once you get the hang and understand that I did these completely blind without knowing what team would come next, if I could rearrange these in the order of my worst teams, I assure you there are certain teams that would have been a lot higher, maybe even a lot lower on the list than where I put some teams in comparison to these. So please don't be gentle in the comments when you see a team in certain positions, maybe.
He's getting his excuses in already, folks.
Well, it's the easiest game show to give an excuse to, isn't it? Because I can't be right for doing wrong, is it?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, though, isn't it? I mean, that's the fun thing about it. Is you know, if I was to give you these 10 teams and just say put them in order, I know it would be a completely different order, apart from maybe 1 or 2. Or if I said to me, pick your 10 worst or most hated clubs, you may have come up with clubs that weren't even on here.
Well, yeah, that is for true. There's probably a few on here that I don't really have any hatred for, but the joys of not knowing what team it is, I have to put them somewhere, and obviously I can't change my position. Chris takes the answer, and hopefully this show will go quicker than it took me to and ah about putting them in positions.
You were quite quick, I've got to say. I was quite impressed, Brad. I was quite impressed. Right.
That's the first time anyone has been impressed with me being quick. So thanks, Chris.
Apparently 1 or 2 women have been, but we won't go there, shall we not? You know. But I'm still in 2 men down the pub mood here. This is what it is. Look, are you ready to go?
Ready as I'll ever be, mate.
All right, then. So the first team because I did, in fairness, Brad, I didn't know if I told you this or not. I did do it on a computer wheel of fortune type thing. So that was why they came out in this order. I didn't pick this order at all. So the first team that came up for you was, and I did smile when I saw this one come up, Coventry City. Now you've got to place Coventry 1st to 10th. 1st being your most hated, 10 being your most loved out of the 10. I'll qualify that.
Yeah, and this is where the fun begins, because I thought I got off to a brilliant start here, and this is probably one of the teams that I might have dropped them a place or 2 from where I originally put them. But my logic for putting them where they are is, out of all the so-called rival clubs we have, as you may know, those that watch the prediction show, those that have watched when me and Chris talk about them, when we did the opening game of the season and whatnot, I always say that this is the M69 derby, and you know you're a massive derby when you're named after a motorway. It's just the rules. I don't make them up. Maybe I did, but that's what I did. So I didn't put these number 1 because there's always one that catches you out. And do I reveal where I put them, or are you going to reveal where I put them on this top 10?
You say where you put it, and then I will show the artwork.
I decided not to jump the gun and put them number 1. Like I said, in a normal order, knowing the teams that were to follow, I might have put them a little bit lower, but I did put them number 2, which is the highest Coventry could expect to be on any list, as my 2nd most hated team. Darcy Gray, love that, playing along. He's gone
Gray. Yeah, no, Gray's joining in. That's fantastic. Thing is, Gray, you can't now go put anybody else in 4th. So that's the. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to write these down for Gray and just see how they compare to you. So he's gone 4th. He's gone Coventry, hasn't he?
He has.
Right. Okay. So the 2nd team, Milo is in. Hello, Milo. How are you doing? The 2nd team that came out the hat was, we should have got a drum roll actually, Arsenal. Yes.
Yeah. Now then, just before you get ahead of yourself, Jamie Vardy's put 5th down for Coventry, so you can note his down as well. He's getting involved. just in case you think he's putting it down for Arsenal. Now,
thank you.
Again, going through these, I kind of said, I don't particularly hate Arsenal, but I still feel smug about the season they celebrated winning the title in February, and we all know how well that worked out for them, don't we, Chris?
Yeah.
A certain team from the Midlands ended up winning it by 10 more points. So I kind of just put these middle grounds. You see,
by the way, who was
pardon?
that? Who was that, by the way?
Oh, I think it was some Leicester City side, as the Americans would say.
Not Coventry City or
No, not
Newby County
Trinity
or anything
Forest
like
either.
that.
No one like that. It was Leicester City, I think, Chris. So I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it before, but I put these fifth based on that because I tried to think tactically. It's very difficult to do when you don't know the other 8 that are going to follow from this one. So I put Arsenal halfway there. I put them fifth.
Fifth. Well, Jamie's put them 8th and Gray has put them 3rd. So there we go. Right. So I spun the wheel and the next team that came up was MK Dons. Now, I did think that, here we go, MK Dons. But when you come to think, I was actually watching, I don't know if anybody follows them. I've got to be careful how I say this. There's a lovely lady called Stunt Peg. STUNTPEGG, and apparently she did a thing saying this is the most hated team in the country. I think because of the fact what they did to Wimbledon and franchise and all that. But where did you put them? And just say hi Fields, how you doing?
Yeah, well, first of all, this is where I had my first gripe because I mean, when Chris did this, he gave me a little bit of dialogue, a little bit of information, trying to maybe get inside my head. And I have to say, begrudgingly, I know who would have thought it. And I have to say, begrudgingly, it kind of worked a little bit because I turned around and went, I know what they did to Millwall was bad, but I don't really care. I don't really hate them per se. I don't.
What they did to Millwall, if we did it to Millwall, they'd be everybody's favourite team. Well, they did it to Wimbledon, though.
That is very true.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go on a whim now and put this out there. Had I not been coerced by Chris, these were 10th when I originally said it. Then he was like, oh, yeah, but the Wimbledon thing. And I went, oh, yeah, well, maybe there's nicer teams on this list. And he tricked me, ladies and gentlemen. He tricked me. So having said that, I did only put them 8th.
You did indeed. Now, look, don't accuse me of trying to, you're a grown adult. You've got your own mind. I'm sure I did not influence you in any way. But Jamie Vardy's put them 6th, and Gray's actually put them 2nd. So Gray, I think, was thinking down the lines that I was. So that was MK Dons. Then next up on the Wheel of Fortune, Leeds United.
Yeah. Right.
I knew where this one was going as soon as it came up.
You did. And ironically, before we started this list, I joked that they would go in this position before it even came out on the wheel. I think that's what stopped me putting Coventry there originally. The thing is with this club is they weren't really a team I was bothered about. In fact, when they had the likes of Alan Smith and Viduka and whatnot, I liked watching them. They were a fantastic side. But where do they get off thinking they're still a massive club? Because I want to know this question, Chris. When was the last time they won a major trophy? I'm not talking the Championship, and no disrespect to Championship, but we're talking Premier League, FA Cup, even a Carabao Cup in terms of trophies, European Cup. When was the last time, if you know, or have a rough idea for me, when did Leeds last win anything notable?
I used to have a link to. Do you remember I used to do the Daily Arsenal?
Yes.
You remember that? And I've not saved the link. When did Leeds last win a trophy?
You probably find.
And that was, they won the Championship in 1920. No, not as in 1920, as in 2019, 2020. League One in 2009-10. The last trophy when they were probably in the top flight was the League Cup 1995-96.
So Swansea City are a bigger team than them. Then Birmingham City are a bigger team than them. Then even Tottenham are a bigger team
They
than
did
them.
win.
Then.
They did win the league the season before the Premier League was formed, didn't they?
Yeah, but by that logic, Blackburn are a bigger team than them. I don't get how you can live off a history of 30 years ago.
No,
You
well,
can't
the Man
do it.
United have done it pretty well, haven't they?
Yeah, I know, but they've got a lot of stock to back them up for. All I'm saying to you is, Chris, is in 30 years' time, do you reckon we will still be having people suggest that Ranieri is our best manager of all time because he won us the Premier League? I would like to say probably not. And I'm going to throw some shade out here after all we've said about him. But in another universe, Chris, had Brendan Rodgers decided to set off into the sail and into the sunset after that FA Cup win, I reckon some people would have been saying he's one of our most successful managers because two top five finishes, a European semi-final, and an FA Cup. Had he left, people would have probably put him in that category. So for me, to sit here and say that even someone who's won us the Premier League and someone like O'Neill, who took us on our first European venture in God knows how long, won us our first major trophy since the two-legged final against Stoke, we have surpassed. How do they get off thinking they're a massive club? Because they're not. For me, you can't be a massive club after 30 years.
But you're quite right about Rodgers. I mean, had Ranieri after one season, he'll always be remembered, but you got to caveat that with the fact that he did take us into the relegation zone.
Yeah, the season afterwards, and didn't even see it through till the start of the next season, did he? Because Shakespeare had to save it.
Really, was it? In fairness, but I've got to say, as Gray says here, happy retirement.
Obviously.
Yes,
obviously.
Totally.
And of course, he'll be fondly remembered. But that's what I mean, Chris. Okay, so 95 was a League Cup and 92 was a league. And they haven't won anything in 29, nearly 30 years. And I'll be very surprised because Southampton might beat them in the final. I wouldn't be surprised if that did go on to 30 years, Chris, and we get to 2025 and they still haven't won anything of any major recognition. And when I say major recognition, that's why I at a stretch put the League Cup in, because that's diminished over the years. I'd say back then it was probably more adverse for them than what it is now, unfortunately.
Indeed. Jamie's put them second. Gray put them fifth. Where did you put them?
I put them top of the tree, which is the only time Leeds United fans would have seen it, apart from that one time they jizzed themselves on being there in goal difference. I put them top of the tree because I just don't get it. And look, I know we still have Leeds fans in here that are decent. This isn't a dig at Leeds fans. Well, the majority of them maybe, but not the some of them. For me, Chris, I just don't get it. They have such a big ego mentality for a club that hasn't won anything for nearly 30 years.
I think you have to look at every club has them.
Well, of course, we even have them. We
have them. People, a lot of fans will go up and say, like, well, we're going to get promoted now. We should be challenging for 5th and 6th again. No, we're challenging for 16th and 17th, but every club has them. And it's only when they occasionally when, the mum lets them out of the basement that they can actually get under and comment. But you did put Leeds first. And I've got to say, that is one of that I would agree with you on, definitely. I can't argue. I put you Leeds. But like Jamie's put them second, and Gray, he half likes them because he's put them fifth. And the next band, what am I saying now? I'm doing Pop Stars, the Rivals here. The next, what's the word I'm looking for? Club. That's it. The next club that comes up was Chelsea.
Well, I hope nobody was looking at the screen for them 10 seconds before, because you've revealed where I was with your slides. You put them in the wrong order.
Did I?
Now, it's hilarious as what's going on.
You're quite right, because I should have gone. I did go back and change it because I realised I'd done. Do you realise how many attempts I had at doing this grid?
I can imagine, mate. I can imagine. And again, this could be one where you think, oh, they're all right because potential FFP, but I don't really hate them for trying to get away with the rule breaks, especially with Man City. And they've become a bit of a laughing thing, haven't they, with the manager roundabout? They're the Premier League Watford, aren't they? It's ridiculous.
They are at the moment. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay, don't get me wrong. Like so Frank Lampard, some managers have deserved to be sacked twice by Chelsea. It's so it's not always been that case, but he's left by mutual consent. Probably got sick of the fact that he was getting signings made by him by some, by the what's that show you keep telling me to watch, the American Coach?
Oh yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Ted.
Can't think what it's called, but yeah.
Whatever him. They've got him in charge of the club, a multi-billionaire that doesn't know anything about football. It doesn't help it. But when I was trying to think where I wanted to rate them, I still said to you, the best thing I've ever remembered from Chelsea, apart from, again, their 90s team, which really should have won a lot more with it, you consider the quality of it. But I had a few favourite players in that era growing up, like Zola. I loved watching Zola play, but also kind of owed them because they could have been higher on most people's list. That's it, Nate. Ted, because I nearly went to say Ted Bundy, but he is killing the club like Ted Bundy did his victims, but I didn't mean that.
It's a third series that I haven't watched that yet, but
yeah. So because Chelsea had that Eden Hazard goal, I kind of topped my hat to them. So I probably was a bit nicer than them, although I obviously after re-looking at the list, actually it's probably I wouldn't have changed them from where they are, considering where others are, and I put them sixth.
You did, and I did have to remind you, yes, we love them for Eden Hazard, but of course, Wesley Fofana.
Yeah, but he's been crippled ever since, hasn't he? And Ben Chilwell.
That's true.
So maybe it's curses going on, Chelsea.
I do apologise that I did, like I say, trying to remember to. It's very easy to put these in order, but it's not easy to put them in order when the teams that you're picking aren't in the same order.
Yeah.
And I did, and I went, oh shit, I've done it, and I updated it, and I forgot to update it on the slides. Honestly, everybody's a critic. Sixth for Gray and seventh for Jamie or Chelsea. Though neither of them have gone number one yet. What are they holding out for?
Probably somebody who I should have put there. But anyway.
Well, to be honest with you, they don't know who's coming up, do they?
That's exactly. They're probably holding out for. Well, yeah, we'll see where I go and how much slate I get in for it later.
I mean, remember you got MK Dons and you got Millwall, not necessarily one of our main rivals, but these aren't our rivals. These are just 10 teams that came out.
Yeah, and for me, the reason I put Coventry there is because I was cautious that another Midland side might come out, and I do say Coventry's our bigger rivals, and I hate them more than our other particular rivals. So for me, I was a bit cautious to put this, but I have very, very much voiced my hatred towards Millwall. Everybody hates Millwall, and Millwall fans punch each other. So they obviously hate Millwall as well. So once I remembered that I couldn't put them second, I put them third in the list. They made the top three, which was the only good sign for Millwall fans ever, is I put them in the top three.
I don't think it'll be a long time till they get there again. Let's have a look. Jamie Vardy's put them fourth, Millwall, and Gray's put them eighth. Oh, we've got a bit of a love affair going on between Gray and Millwall here. But no, I would have to agree with you. They've got to certainly be on the right hand side of that table. I'm sorry, Gray. What are you on? Really? I love you, mate. But what are you on? Nate says, as a more recent Leicester fan and an American, I don't have the same hatred for local rivals. I've no reason, but I really don't like Wolves. Fair enough. We all have teams. I mean, these aren't local. I mean, Arsenal aren't local rivals. Chelsea aren't. They are literally teams that, again, you're new into it, Nate, so I get that totally. But these are just teams that we've grown to hate over the years, aren't they, Brad?
They certainly are.
Right. So after Millwall, and Jamie's admitted he's waiting for Forest. But after Millwall, the next team that came up, well, talk about waiting for Forest. There they are.
Yeah, I'll give people free. If you've just seen where the columns are and how full one side is compared to the other, I'll give you about 3 or 4 seconds to type in where you think I've put them. in my graphic. I think we knew. Oh well, great jumping in. We know where Jamie Vardy's going to put them. I was relatively happy with this because I kind of mentally did say to you, didn't I, Chris, backstage before we started it on the phone call to get the show prepared, that I'm going to put Leeds number one. And I kind of knew I was going to always put.
You said that before I even said what teams were in.
And I didn't even know they were going to.
Number one.
Yeah, I said that Leeds, you might as well put Leeds number one. He says, well, they might not be, on the list. So, and then I was always going to put Coventry second because I didn't want to risk putting them any lower and then having to put maybe someone I actually liked maybe second on the list for running out of positions. So, aside from switching these with Millwall, I had only one alternative. I had a slot in the number 4 spot. So again, they failed to make the top 3. Still not a massive club anymore, but they have at least done something in European success. So I suppose they can still sing the praises of that. But yeah, I put them 4th purely on the basis that, unfortunately for them, slots number 1, 2, and 3 had already been taken up.
And you've got to remember, I think, with Forest as well, and with Coventry to a point, the rivalries been that long since we had a rivalry. Forest, all right, a couple of seasons ago when they got promoted and there was the FA Cup and all that. Coventry really only this season. Where things like Arsenal, it's been going on for quite a few years, hasn't it? So, but I agree, 4th. Like I say, I think you maybe shot your bolt early, but like I say, you said right at the start, Leeds are going to be number 1, whatever happens. So, fair play to you. And the way they've been this season, I do not blame you at all. I've got to say that this isn't just the fans, this is the whole club. Everything that goes on with the club, this is. I just want to say now, before we get to our final 3, couple of shows that are coming up tomorrow night. Join us. Let me just get rid of my banner there, and then you'll be able to see exactly what it is. Let's talk football. John Sinclair, who's a huge Newcastle fan, has a very big Newcastle channel. He has invited me on, and will also be shown live on here as well. It's a dual presentation, just talking football. Premier League's welcoming us back, and I like Newcastle. I like John. He's a great chap. So do join in, and we'll be talking Newcastle and Leicester and what's been happening while we've been apart on that. And don't forget, next Tuesday, of course, as always, every Tuesday now at 7, 2 fans down the pub. We seem to get more drunk each week, so check that out as well on that. So, Brad, let's have a look who's coming up, shall we?
Oh, God, yes. I know what's left. Please don't hate me, people. Now, that's all I'm going to say from this point onwards. Please don't hate me. Remember, I backed myself into a corner with my prior answers. Although saying that, some of you may understand that they wouldn't have been too much higher. As best I could. Go on, Chris. Pull the trigger.
One of them might. Okay, up next. Let's keep the suspenders going. Manchester City.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I can't wait for the Netflix documentary. I mean, imagine the harrows of spending only £2 billion on your squad and bribing allegedly and paying billions of pounds to lawyers to avoid and dodge 115 FFP charges. It's a heartbreaking story of trial and tribulation and a fairy tale journey that deserves its own Netflix documentary. But that aside, Chris, if you take the background thing that's going on with the boards and the non-showing of documents and that aside, whether you like it or not, they are impressive to watch. I don't care how. Yeah, well, I do care how they've done it, especially if they've done it by breaking rules.
We have to be very careful what we accuse people of.
Yeah,
don't we?
Yeah, but for me, if I look at it objectively from a football perspective, it balances out. Watching them play football is impressive. Whether they've done it legally or not, which we may never find out, even though there's 115 charges there to be investigated, they are actually that impressive. And I'd rather them win it and be cocky for the next 20 years than Man United or any team like that. So I kind of put them at the highest point I could at that point, which I may live to have regretted. Well, I definitely did with one of my options. I can confirm that, if not both of the options left. But I put them 7th because my logic to argue anyone who says, why'd you put them so low, is because that's how many divisions they should get relegated to once the charges get proven, or not, should I say, just to be safe. But yes, I put them 7 because it was the only slot I had available of any high value.
It was indeed. So, I just pressed the wrong button. Am I still there? Yes, I am. And we'll have a look. And they were 7th. That left you two slots. Oh, by the way, Gray put Man City in 7th, so he actually agreed with you. And I'm not sure where Jamie's put them. Let's just have a look if he's commented. Jamie's put them 9th on that. On that, as I've said, and I've said it, and we touched on it yesterday in the two fans down the pub show. We'll take whatever punishment is thrown at us if we seem to break the rules. I think the rules are silly, but look, it is what it is. It still pisses me off. If you're going to fine us, then do Chelsea and Manchester City as well. But up next, if a drum roll, because I haven't got a cheese roll, Manchester United.
Look, guys, if I'd have known these were on the list, they'd have been higher. And to be honest with you, when I really think about them, again, a little bit like Manchester City in a sense, I would not have actually put these in my top 3 now. Thinking back at it and looking at the list, they wouldn't have actually made my top 3. I probably would have put everybody else from 4th downwards down an extra position and put them in the top 5. If I'm being perfectly honest, had I known and done this, if it was just a rate these out of 10, Brad, give me a list on the back, it wasn't. Because the Alex Ferguson era, as boring as it may have been or whatever, to some people that they kept winning it, it was also impressive because he churned different teams out every season. He did.
Total respect for the guy. Total. I mean,
yeah.
Not my favourite person because he'd come up with every excuse under the sun. If he was a bit like a Brendan Rodgers, wasn't he? But he'd come up. But you total respect for the guy.
Yeah. So whilst I maybe would have put them a bit higher up in a normal top 10 list, given the 10 teams that you gave me, I was scared at who would be last on here. Because I didn't want them to become across as my nicest of the 10 teams, as you quoted it. And I probably wish I could have put them there in that sense now, but I've put them 9th. I had no choice. Well, I had a 50-50 thing. I only had 9th and bottom place available, so I put them 9th.
You did, not knowing who was coming up. Jamie Vardy has actually said that Manchester United, on the list of these 10 clubs, we've still got one to go, on the list of the 10 clubs that are here, that they are his favourite club. So Jamie Vardy likes Manchester United better than any of these clubs. Having said that, Gray has also put them in 10th as well. So he very much he did try to sneak them in at equal first, but he couldn't. He's had to go 9th. Which is going to be very interesting because Gray has fallen into the same trap as you did, Brad. So Gray has 10th available. Jamie has 3rd. And this is why I enjoy this, because you just don't know what we're going to be doing. Loads of these over the summer. We really are. But before we get to that, can I just check? Do check out, and I've done it again, haven't I? Let me just get rid of that comment. Do check out on the BBC blog, on the BBC webpage, the Leicester City webpage on the BBC, a gamble and an unsung hero, my 23-24 verdict. I could only again answer the questions that they asked me, and as I did, I think they put them all on a separate page. I think you've got all the Premier League teams and the 2 that have gone up, definitely. So do check that out. So bbc.co.uk/LCFC. And also, coming up this Sunday at 1:45. We're just on just 15 minutes before kickoff. We are doing the watch along for Leeds United versus Southampton. Join us for that 1:45 Sunday. Got out better to do. It's One Man and His Dog on BBC One, Antiques Roadshow on Dave. So join us for the watch along with the 2 o'clock kickoff. And all I can say is, come on, Southampton. Sorry if there's any Leeds fans in. Well, not really. Yeah, as Grace just said, hey, come on, you Saints. Grace says, I'm good. Chris, loving this. Now, Jamie said he wanted Derby next. Well, I'm sorry, Jamie. You are going to be very, very disappointed because, like I say, these were just random teams that I was given. But you're quite right. It is Derby County next, yes.
These are very good guesses, Jamie. And obviously, spoiler alert, but these had the place to go in last place. And obviously, like I said, I probably would have, if I was to probably change the order, or if you said to me you can change 3 teams' orders, I probably would have put Manchester United in 5th, Derby in 6th, and then respectively put anyone else, not everybody else in there in the order. But in all honesty, ironically, we've got 3 Midlands rivals teams in here, and they are my least team I hate the least because we always beat them, Chris. We went for a very good stage, and one of my most memorable matches, and maybe that will come up on one later on, I don't know, and I'll keep it in the back of my mind if we ever do one like this. One of my most memorable Leicester matches that I used to watch religiously on VHS. For you kids, that's a video cassette tape that's around. You actually posted it. It happened on this day. It's on one of our on the Instagrams, and I don't know if it's on TikTok as well. It was on the Instagram post that you put up on this day, Chris. Leicester City storming into a 4-0 lead inside 15 minutes at Pride Park, which was enough to send some Derby County fans home, as Andy Gray said. When we did that, and I still remember Robbie Savage's interview when he kind of joked that he played for Leicester and Blackburn and always used to beat Derby, so he felt sorry for him and got off to a cracking start as Derby County captain. Then, so would I maybe change them? Maybe if I'd have known it. Not knowing it, they would have probably still been on that left-hand side of the board anyway. So maybe you can forgive me for putting our localish rivals, but we've not played them in so long either, Chris.
No, exactly. Gray says 10th, but realistically joint first. You got 3 joint first, Gray. Doesn't happen like that. You cannot do that. Gray, Derby are your most favourite team. Look, it says it. You put them 10th. Jamie's put them 3rd. Well, I had to. That was all that was left. So I'm going to give you the chance here then, just as a bit of fun, because I'm nice. I'm nice like that.
Go on then.
Go on then. Give us your 1 to 10 now that you know what the 10 team, because that's your official 1 to 10. But what would it have been if you'd known, who was coming out?
I'd probably go. I'll do them in reverse order. I'd put Arsenal 10th, Man City 7th, MK
9th, you mean?
Yeah, 9th.
Yeah.
MK Dons would stay 8th.
Yeah.
Chelsea would go 7th. Arsenal would go
no, Arsenal are 10th.
Right, so you have to okay.
Let me write this down. Sorry, so 10th you're going to go Arsenal.
Yeah. Okay. 9th I would then I'd probably put MK Dons.
MK Dons 9th. Okay.
Chelsea will go 8th.
Chelsea 8th.
Man City would stay 7th.
Man City.
So who have I got left then?
So you've got let's have a look. Manchester United.
Yeah, 6th.
6th. And then you basically got, apart from Arsenal, everybody that's on that side and Derby County.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd probably put Derby County 5th, and then the rest would stay as they are, Chris, to be perfectly honest with you. I was pretty happy with my top 4 anyway.
Funny, isn't it? You know, everybody hates Millwall. And I think, to be honest, it's a bit like that with Leeds as well at the moment, isn't it? But look, the fun is that you just don't know who's coming up. And that is what I absolutely love about it, you know. Yeah, no, that's fine, mate. All right, no, like I say, it was only going to be a short one today. Appreciate you coming on. I hope you've enjoyed it, Brad.
I have. It's fun to do. I'll look forward to doing more with you, mate.
We will be doing plenty. I know your food is waiting, so I will let you go. Take care, buddy, and I'll speak to you soon, no doubt.
Take care, mate. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Brad. Oh, yeah. Daisy, what am I doing? Let's do that. There we go. He's got his food coming, so he has to go. It was, like I say, these are only ever going to be shorter shows. Look, guys, if you're watching and you're watching this on catch up, stick in the description below. Do you want to see more of these, or do you not think they're fun? I absolutely like them. I love the fact, like you say, that Brad went very early. He said Leeds before they even came out. He said, if Leeds are in there, I'm going number 1. And then Coventry came up first, and he went for number 2. And he didn't realise, obviously, that Derby would be coming up. And when you sort of trying to think, you don't think, well, Derby's not come out yet. Should I wait for Derby? So it's over the phone. He doesn't have the chance of seeing the teams in advance like you did there, guys. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Brilliant, Nate. Thank you very much. Jamie, appreciate that as well. More. I don't want to know what you say to your wife of a night, Gray, or what she says to you, whichever way you look at it. The other thing we've got coming up, I'm not sure what night this is. We've got a lot of shows pre-planned. We've got, with the Euros coming up, we're going to have the shit shirt show, as we always do at the start of the season or the start of a competition. We've got also the group prediction stages for the Euros as well. And what we've also done is Alan, who you know goes to our matches and does my man of the match and team rating, he has actually rated all 23 opposing stadiums from when he's been on away days. And he's been to every one, and he has rated them from 1 to 23. So if you want to find out which ground he thinks is the worst for away fans, and which indeed it is great, and which ground he thinks is the best for away fans, or in his opinion as a Leicester fan, you'll find out. We're going to be doing that certainly probably by the weekend. I might do it Friday, might have a night off, I can't say. Then Monday, anybody remember the big fat football quiz? It's coming back with a bank holiday special. Kate and Dave are going to be up against each other. It's not even going to be a serious competition. We're just going to have a bank holiday laugh. But look, yeah, like I say, thank you so very much for watching. Thanks to you guys that are in the chat. Thanks to Gray and to Jamie for joining in. Makes it a lot more fun when people do. So thank you very much. Thank you to everybody else that's been in, Nate as well. And Colonel Ward popped in for a while. So appreciate everybody that was in. If you've been listening, thank you very much for spending the time to listen to us on the podcast, whether that's Spotify. Google are getting rid of the podcasts, so you can't. But YouTube do a podcast as well. Google, I think, are moving over to YouTube. I don't get it myself. I don't understand it. Like I say, and if you are watching this on catch up on YouTube, stick your comments in below. I'm sure there'll be a few Leeds comments, but just say whether you enjoy the show or not, because we will be doing more of these, hopefully, if enough people like them. Thanks very much, guys. I will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock doing the joint show with on John Sinclair TV. Big Newcastle fan, great Geordie, so I need to go and get me English Geordie Facebook out. But it's great. They're welcoming us back, and it will be nice to be back with the Premier League. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks to Brad. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.